Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing a Christmas special, which I had previously reviewed, but I did as a part of a combo. I did two Christmas specials in one video, which I feel didn't really do it. Sorry about the hair here. Uh, which I feel didn't really do either show justice. So I'm going to do one of those two shows as a single review, which is Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Well, like I said earlier, I did it as a combination with the little drummer boy, and I felt that I didn't really like. I don't really like doing. I don't really like doing these combination reviews, because I felt because I did it too short, so I did another video on top, and I piggybacked two specials in one video, to make it a little bit easier and economical for me. But I think it did like 2 years ago, and I wasn't satisfied with the results, so I decided to redo that special as a review. Like I said, for the start of this one, I'm doing a Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, which debuted back in 1962, originally on NBC. And during my generation, from the most of the 70s into the early 80s, it aired exclusively on WPAX Channel 11 here in New York City. And I thought it was just originally was a syndicated Christmas special. But it was originally on NBC originally, and then for the 50th anniversary, which was about 4 years ago, it came back on NBC and aired like 2 years in a row, and then has never aired on regular television since. Which is a shame, because this is really, even though there were like 10,000 different versions of A Christmas Carol, not just the live action films, but also there's also a Muppet version, various other cartoons. Disney did one with Mickey Mouse, Mickey Christmas Carol, with Mickey playing Bob Cratchit, and of course Scrooge McDuck, of course, obviously playing Ebenezer Scrooge in that. But that was it came like, I think it came like just after this special aired. Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol was the first holiday special ever. I'm not talking about just for Christmas specials. I'm saying for any holiday. This was the first special, and unfortunately, I don't think that Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol has gotten the recognition as it should on television. I know that last year, in 2015, there was a whole big deal, because the most famous Christmas special was, of course, this Charlie Brown Christmas. Got all this praise and recognition. There was a crappy primetime special honoring the 50th anniversary. There was also a 50th anniversary Rudolph. They didn't really do over the top like they did with Peanuts, with his own special telling the story of how the Rudolph show was created. They didn't go that far like they did with the Peanuts show. But with Mr. Magoo, it's like it really is the first holiday special, and it should get recognition as it should. Now on to the show. The show itself is, of course, with Mr. Magoo, who, those of you who don't know who Mr. Magoo is, he was a cartoon character who was voiced by Jim Backus, of course, more famous for playing Thurston Howard III on Gilligan's Island. And he played James Dean's father in Rebel Without a Cause. So he was pretty much a well-known actor, and during the 1960s, he was the voice of Mr. Magoo. It was a series of cartoons that used to air. I don't know for sure if it aired on Saturday mornings, but I do remember that it used to air like during the week when I was a kid, and when I was in school and daycare, they used to show like once a week or every other week. They used to show like cartoons on Friday, and sometimes they would show some Mr. Magoo cartoons. Anyway, so in 1962, they made a whole 1 hour Christmas special for Mr. Magoo, for Magoo's Christmas Carol, and this is one of the first, if not the first, animated version of A Christmas Carol. where it shows Mr. Magoo, and of course, the joke with Mr. Magoo, I should point this out before going any further. He's supposed to be nearsighted, so that's why they make all these jokes about him being, making fun of blind people. He's not blind. He's just so extremely nearsighted that he couldn't see anything. So people thought when they made the live action movie like some 20 years ago with Leslie Nielsen playing Mr. Magoo, we thought they were making fun of blind people. But Mr. Magoo is supposed to be nearsighted. I should point that out. Anyway, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol is when Mr. Magoo is supposed to be like a Broadway actor. And he was hired to play Ebenezer Scrooge on the Broadway show. And the whole opening is with Mr. Magoo going to the theater where the show was being played, and you see during the opening montage as him going to the theater, you see flashes of articles, newspaper articles of him getting praise for playing Ebenezer Scrooge, and the show is and the show is great. And of course, the version of A Christmas Carol that Mr. Magoo is in is actually a musical, not a straight out play. Of course, who doesn't know the story of A Christmas Carol? Well, it's about an old miser, or a rich miser, played by Ebenezer Scrooge, who owns a little loan company or something, whose partner recently died, Jacob Morley. It was like this old, long-time partner, and the two of them started this company together. And he has and Ebenezer Scrooge had a new partner named Bob Cratchit. He was like this poor guy because he not only was he poor, but he was poorly paid. He was a hard worker, busts his ass every single day for long hours for Scrooge, and he gets paid peanuts. He barely gets paid minimum wage. And he has a family. He has a sick boy named Tiny Tim, who says, "God bless us, everyone," which is I think it's like the line that everybody remembers from Christmas Carol. So on Christmas Eve, of course, and it had to be on Christmas Eve, and Scrooge says to Cratchit, "Look, if you don't come into work tomorrow, you're fired." It's kind of like the Donald Trump and Charles Dickens stories. He keeps saying, "You're fired, you're fired, you're fired," like in The Prince. So, Paul Cratchit said, "Look, sir, it's Christmas Day." I said, "I don't care what day it is, bah humbug to Christmas." And of course, there's people who want money to donate to the poor. I said, "Look, and he goes like, "Screw the poor." He goes, there's a bunch of carolers, and he doesn't give money to the carolers. He treats people lousy because he had a bill of life. And he treats people lousy because he was treated lousy. So it's all like sort of embittered and on and all that stuff. So on Christmas Eve, he goes to sleep and he sees his old partner as a ghost, Jacob Morley. He says, "Look, you're going to be visited by 3 ghosts, and if you don't change your ways very soon, you're going to end up like me. Dead with carrying chains, walking around with chains and all that stuff." So, of course, he sees the ghosts of Christmas present, Christmas past, and Christmas yet to come. First, he sees Christmas present, and of course, he sees what's going on with Bob Cratchit and see how hard of life he has working for Scrooge, and how he should get paid more. He should be made into a full partner, which he wasn't at that time, and how if the series of events, if you don't help this family who's been working for you, Bob Cratchit's family, he's going to lose his son. If you don't pay him more and you don't help him with his health expenses. So, oh my God. And he says, "Oh, don't realize this." Then he goes to the past and how he was a little boy, and how people don't bother, and how the other kids don't even bother with him. They leave him alone. He's all by himself all the time. And how lonely existence he had. So it's really, it's really a lot of stuff to put in an animated cartoon, and how depressing this story is, and it is a depressing story. And then of course it gets older, and how a girl who Scrooge was in love with leaves him because of the fact that he's more interested in money we're making money, or any money than her. And he says, look, if we have money, we could live. You could live good. That's why I'm working so hard, so we can have enough money so I could support you. And he says, well, you're too much interested in money, so the hell with you, and dumps him. And then, of course, they go to Christmas yet to come, and he finds out that grave robbers broke into his house and stole a lot of his stuff. And of course, then what happens was the fact that found out, okay, who died, and they found out that he was one who's died, and quite recently too, and it's going to be quite recent from Christmas present. Very recently, he's going to die if he doesn't change his race. And the scary thing is that Christmas yet to come doesn't say a word. It's like a phantom, and you see his hand. It says bones instead of an actual hand from the other two spirits to visit him. So of course, what makes the long story short is, of course, he does change his race, and he buys a whole big meal, Christmas meal for Bob Cratchit, and of course to fool him at the end. Scrooge says, "Hey, you're fired. How come you not work?" I said, "Bob, surprise, fooled you." And I said, psych. I said, psyched him out, or faked him out. It says, "Merry Christmas, Bob." And then I said, "Look, I'm here to tell you." I said, "Look, I'm not gonna fire you. I want you to join your family, and I was the one who gave you this meal. I was the one who got the turkey for you and everything." And he says, "Oh, you did?" I said, "Yeah, because I felt, I just want to, felt sorry about how bad I've been treating you, and I want to make you into a full partner, and I'm going to increase your salary and all that stuff. So I want you to live well." And he says, "Okay, great." And they give money or extra Christmas money for his family, and especially to Tiny Tim. And they had a big sing along at the end of this thing, and that's pretty much how it ended. And of course, they got a big standing ovation in the end from the crowd that's there to see his play. Now, for each one of the segments they had with the ghosts, that's when they had the intermissions for the play. After each scene with the first two scenes with sequences with the two ghosts. After the first sequence, they had an intermission, and then you had the second one, and then you had the another intermission, and then you had with the Christmas yet to come. And they almost went to one to the other, from Christmas past to Christmas yet to come. They didn't really have a real break. Or went from one to the other, which was kind of scary, especially the third part with the ghosts, because with the Christmas yet to come scene, because you have the grave robbers and the way they did the mouths, and you just focus on the mouths of the grave robbers. That scene was kind of unnerving, and it's kind of really hard for a little kid, which I was when I first saw this show, to watch this thing. But the show itself is definitely worth watching, and like I said, it's definitely one of the better versions of Christmas Carol. If you're talking about animated versions of Christmas Carol, you watch this one and Mickey's Christmas Carol as like the two best versions. For some reason, I have not seen the Muppet version, but I think it's kind of weird that they have at least 3 different versions of a Christmas Carol aimed towards kids. 2 animated versions and of course the Muppet version, of course, is a live action version with Michael Caine playing Scrooge. It's kind of hard to watch a show like this that's aimed at kids, because, like I said before, Christmas Carol is a very depressing story, and I can't believe that they aimed this type of story towards kids. Because of the subject matter, because it is a depressing story about miser and how it treats people, and if you don't change your ways, you're going to end up dead. That's kind of weird, because we're all going to end up dead. It's an only question of when and for what reason we die. But it's very weird to have at least three different versions aimed at kids. Plus the other 20 million versions out there with Scrooge. But like I said before, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, I think this is like the best one out of the three versions. With the Muppet, I think this Mr. Magoo and Mickey's Christmas Carol is like the two best ones, like almost a tie, with a very distant third with the Muppet Christmas Carol. That was one of the first Muppet movies that was made after Jim Henson had died, and so of course Jim Henson had full control of the whole thing, creative control of it. So after he died, they made this thing, and I haven't really caught the full thing yet. With Muppet Christmas Carol, because if I had, I would have done a review of it already. But for Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, like I said, it's definitely one of the best versions, and you will see. And I believe it is on YouTube, so check it out if you haven't seen it. And it's definitely one of the better versions. And like I said, it's the first Christmas special, and it should get the recognition as it should. So that's my review of Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all of my videos not only on my YouTube channel, but at rallyc.com, that's all WDY, C.com. That's the homepage of the Rally Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all of his content on his website. And you can also follow me not only on my Facebook page, but also on Twitter. I'm actually on Twitter now, so check me out on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.